So, when you think about the future of fintech, what pops into your head? The big IPOs, the flashy product launches. Yeah, we tend to focus on all that spectacle. But what if the real story, the one that's actually shaping what's next, is happening quietly, after the party's over? And man, this quote just nails it, right? While everyone's watching the party, the janitor is the one who sees what's real, what's being built to last. And that's exactly what we're going to focus on, the fundamental work happening just outside the spotlight. So we're going to unpack some recent moves from three very different companies. And each one is a quiet but really powerful signal that points to where money tech is actually headed, far away from all the usual hype. All right, let's get into our first major signal. We are officially moving past the hype to see what's being built for real, and we're starting with a company that is an absolute master of working behind the scenes.
This is Fiserv, who we're calling the operator. Now, they're not typically the star of the show, but they just made what might be one of the most important fintech moves of the year. They took a concept that sounds like science fiction and quietly made it a reality today.
And that concept is called agentic commerce. Okay, so think of an AI assistant that does way more than just find you the best flight. I'm talking about an AI that has the authority to actually browse all the options, decide on the best one for you, and then book and pay for it, all on its own. It's a really powerful idea, but until now, it's been pretty much all talk. This slide just lays it out so perfectly. For years, this idea of agentic commerce has been stuck in what you might call PowerPoint purgatory. It's that cool demo you see at a tech conference that you can't actually use. Well, Fiserv just yanked it out of the concept phase and wired it directly into the real-world payment rails of both Visa and MasterCard. It's plug and play now. The strategy here is it's brilliant. By announcing with both Visa and MasterCard at the same time, Fiserv sends this crystal-clear signal of neutrality. They're positioning themselves to be the essential middleman, kind of like the Switzerland of AI payments. It's a classic Fiserv move, a headline that seems a little dry, but strategically gives them massive leverage to become the go-to processor for this entire new AI economy. So here's the crucial point. While everyone else was busy talking about what AI could do, Fiverr just quietly built the tools to let it actually happen. They didn't just hype it, they made it work. Now on to our second signal. This one comes from a name you definitely know, Coinbase. But as you're about to see, they're not really playing the game you think they are. They're stepping into the role of the plumber.
So Coinbase has made two really quiet but super strategic moves. First, they bought a regulated platform for on-chain markets. Think less crypto casino and more like a proper established financial exchange. And second, and this is the big one, they launched a service for businesses to issue their own custom-branded stablecoins. Those digital tokens pegged to something like the US dollar.
Somebody described this perfectly as Stripe brain, but on-chain. On-chain just means the transactions are happening right on a blockchain. So instead of just being a place where you and I trade crypto, Coinbase is building the business-to-business tools so that other companies can handle their payments and settlements with this tech. They're building the pipes. This pivot is absolutely crucial. The Coinbase of the past, its whole business model, was tied to the crazy ups and downs of crypto trading. The new Coinbase is de-risking by becoming a picks and shovels provider. They're selling the essential tools, making sure their business can thrive no matter who's winning the gold rush. So the big takeaway here is one word: durability. While everyone's obsessing over crypto prices, Coinbase is busy laying down the fundamental plumbing that's going to be valuable whether the market is booming or busting. And that brings us to our third and final signal, which I gotta say might be the most counterintuitive one of all. After seeing all this innovation and infrastructure, we're now going to look at the anchor, a role that is perfectly played by a company called Paychex. Okay, so we've seen Fiserv operationalize AI. We've seen Coinbase build new financial rails. So you're probably wondering, what mind-blowing, game-changing innovation did Paychex just unveil? The answer? Absolutely nothing. And that, right there, is precisely the signal. In a market that's starved for stability, doing nothing flashy is its own kind of power move. Look, Paychex handles the stuff no business can function without: payroll, HR, benefits. It is not exciting work, but it is absolutely essential. And in a nervous risk-off market, investors suddenly remember the beauty of predictable, recurring cash flow. Paychex is basically the control group for all the wild fintech experiments out there. And they're proving that sometimes the best strategy is just being incredibly reliable.
So the insight from Paychex is simple, but so powerful. Never, ever underestimate the value of being essential. Boring can be beautiful, and right now it is absolutely a winning strategy.
Okay, so we've looked at three very different companies, right? The operator, the plumber, and the anchor. Let's bring it all together and see what kind of picture this paints for the future.
So here is how it all fits. You've got Fiserv, the operator, who is making futuristic AI commerce, something you can actually use today. Then there's Coinbase, the plumber, building the durable infrastructure for the next wave of finance. And finally, you have Paychex, the anchor, reminding us all that stability and essential services are the bedrock that all this innovation is built on. And this is the most crucial point. These aren't three competing visions for what's next. They are three essential, complementary parts of a single, healthy, mature technology ecosystem. You need the innovators, you need the infrastructure builders, and you need the stable anchors. You need all three. So, the future of finance is being built as we speak. The only question is, where are you going to be looking? Are you going to be watching the flashing lights of the nightclub? Or are you going to be paying attention to the janitor, the one who's quietly building the foundation for everything that comes next?